So Jasmine, how old are you now?
16.
Okay, and what grade are you in?
11th.
All right. And what kind of stuff do you think you might be interested in studying?
Um, I'm really into like early childhood, like 3 and 4-year-olds. And I also have semi-recently gotten interested in forensic analysis.
Like, what got you interested in working with kids?
Um, I don't know. I guess I like being around them and I can connect with them like better than other people.
And what about forensic analysis? How did that come up for you?
I just think that's really interesting. Like when I was younger, I'd buy like books on it, and I just think it'd be really interesting to find out more about it.
So watching TV, what sort of shows are about forensic analysis that gets you interested?
Well, forensic analysis and like the FBI and CSI, like the X-Files and Fringe, which I've only seen one episode of.
So that sort of medical investigations in crime scenes, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So really, a lot of kids think that at your age they have to figure out what they want to do with their life,
Yeah.
which isn't true at all. You've got years and years and years to figure that out. But what you need to know is what you love and what you're interested in and what you want to study. So what have you been doing with kids that lets you know that you like it?
I have a job after school that works with kids on most days, and I'm taking a college course that deals with kids, and I have to go down to a preschool and observe them. And I'm their favorite.
All right, so what I would say to you is definitely keep up with that. What colleges want to see is that you're passionate about something and that you've done it over a long period of time, so that's clearly showing that. But there's lots of other types of careers besides, preschool teacher that you can do in working with kids.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a preschool teacher.
So what are some other types of careers working with kids that you might be interested in?
Physical therapy.
And what makes you think you're interested in that?
There's a little girl that I work with at Head Start, and I go to her physical therapy sessions with her, and it's really interesting.
Absolutely. All right, so if you were going to just create a list, and I'm actually suggesting you do this, sit down at some point and create a list of all the different careers you can think of with kids, and then cross off the ones that you certainly wouldn't want.
Yeah.
Because they could be really different. I mean, from physical therapy working with kids to photographer working with kids, they could be a ton of different stuff. So if you make this huge list and then start thinking about what your skills are and what your interests are and hone it down. Because you might find your interest with kids might lead you to be a teacher, but it might lead you in this other medical direction or this other, artistic direction. So you want to work that. And one of the things that kids your age it's really helpful for kids your age to do is to do exactly what you're doing with Head Start, but now think about what are some other things that you could also get an internship or a volunteer at or something like that, so you can get real world experience on whether, like, forensic sounds awesome, but you might get in there and be like, whoa. Or you might think this is totally what you want to do. So what are some other fields you might want to check out?
I think the whole, police field is really interesting. Like, everything about it, every position in it. I used to want to be a doctor, but not so much anymore. That's really it. I don't really think anything else is that interesting.
Well, kids and things pertaining to the medical field and criminology, those are 3 really big fields with lots and lots of opportunities.
Yeah.
So that's awesome that you have those identified. A lot of kids your age have no clue whatsoever.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So you've got your Head Start thing going on. Do you think there might be any opportunities in forensics for kids your age?
I don't know. I mean, I know there's a criminology course at BOCES, but I'm not that certain about it that I'd go spend half a day every day.
Right, that's a
learning about
commitment.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so what I would say is now that you're a junior and you're starting to think about colleges, you want to make sure that the colleges you look at have all the things that you might be interested in. So make sure they have criminology, make sure they have psychology, make sure they have forensics, they have early childhood stuff. So you can take your classes in all those different things in order to find out. Okay. Does your school have an internship program?
Yes, I'm going to do it next year.
Okay,
You
so
have
how
to
does
be a
that
senior.
work?
You take a class, and I think you have it once a week. And one class you go to your internship, and the other class you stay. And they set you up with someone, and you follow them around. I guess that's pretty much all I know about it.
And it's for a whole semester?
Yeah.
Okay. So my suggestion to you would be, well, you could do it two ways. You could go in a different direction with your childhood interest, or you can take that time to explore out on the forensics or on the criminology side, to get a better sense of which direction you want to take it. You've got a lot of good ideas. Sometimes adults figure out that what they really want to do with their life isn't the career they had set themselves off on, and it comes out of just what they love to do normally. So are there things, forgetting about careers, what are some things that you just love to do?
Music.
Play music?
Play it, write it, listen to it. I like to read. I think being an English teacher would be really interesting. I like literature. I don't know. I like being in charge.
Okay, so just in those few seconds, you added more things besides criminology and early childhood and possible police work. But now also there's literature that you're interested in, and you want to be in charge. So another thing I would say is, besides your list of possible careers for early childhood, possible careers for criminology, possible careers for forensics, then make another list, and that list is just things you love, and it doesn't have to have any sense of what you'd want to do as a career. Because you might find, wow, I took this course and that one that didn't really float my boat, but I remember in high school I really loved literature. Maybe I should take an English class and see what that's, whether that is something that leads me in a direction that I would love more. Or the same with being in charge. I mean, that says maybe it's management. Maybe I'd be really great at being the boss of something.
Yeah.
And how does one become that? And the boss of what? What field? So even if what you love to do is hang out with your friends, that tells you that you want an environment that's much more social, and you don't want to be in a cubicle.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Okay, so that's another thing. Just listing things that really you like and things that you absolutely hate. Like, I knew as a kid, a cubicle would not be a good thing for me.
Yeah.
So list things that you're afraid of happening, or that you would hate, or that you would, you hope never you end up doing that sort of job. And that'll give you some better sense of picking. And then it makes it easier to know what schools to look at, because you want to know that they have all those options for you.
Yeah.
The other thing when it comes to starting to look at schools is whether the school is a big school, a big university, or would you be happier in a smaller learning environment, with maybe 1,200 students total in the 4 years, as opposed to 3,000 each year,
Well, there's 2,500 in my school right now, as it is.
There's a lot of colleges a lot smaller than that.
Yeah. I'd be more comfortable in a big school, but I think probably smaller classes would work better for me.
What makes you think you'd be more comfortable in a big school?
I'm a social person. I hate being alone, and I love being around people.
Some people find that, like, the big schools, there's a ton of people around them, but you don't necessarily get as close and get to know as many. Even in a small school, that's still 1,200 new people you haven't met yet. That's a lot. So it's not like, because it's a smaller school, you're going to know less people. And sometimes you know people deeper because there's less of you and you're all eating together, and So it doesn't necessarily mean you'll know less people because it's a smaller school. What do you think that you're, like, a city person or a country person?
Country.
A country person. Okay. Do you want to be far from home, or would you like to be within a day's drive, a couple of hours?
Within a day drive, yeah.
So you like the Northeast? You like the snow?
I don't like the snow, but, it's all country out here, so.
And you have to go further than a day's drive to get out of the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you want within a few hours, and you know you want all those things to be offered in the school, and you think maybe it sounds like you're open to both a small school or a large school.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what was that you were telling me about not being able to go to a 4-year school right away?
Oh, my guidance counselor, at the beginning of this year, we were talking about me not taking the mainstream math and science routes. And she told me that if I did that, I probably wouldn't be able to get into a 4-year school, and that a community college was my best bet.
But it doesn't mean you can't.
Right.
I mean, community college might be a great idea for you, and the ones we've got around here are terrific. In fact, the ones we've got around here have this deal where the top 10 kids of the classes of the schools around here get to go for free. So you end up going to school with like valedictorians and salutatorians, and that raises the caliber of conversation and of work effort in each of the classes. So that's really terrific. Plus, we have a lot of new technology businesses coming into town, so a lot of the community colleges are responding by having more science programs and more technical programs that could really feed into local jobs. So those things are really great. The other thing is that if 2-year school is what you want, then it's absolutely a good option. But if it's not what you want, and you think you want to go right away to a 4-year school, it's not true that you can't. Your choices might be lessened a bit because of the courses you've taken, but that doesn't mean there aren't schools out there that would, be fine with that. The other piece is that I know your grades have been struggling.
Yeah.
And they've been struggling because you've been dealing with a medical problem, right? But if you start showing now that that's under control, if you start showing a real improvement and not slack off your junior, senior year, that's going to show the schools that things have turned around, and that'll make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing to remember is that schools are looking for 3 main things. One is they want to know you can do the work. So they want to see that you've taken the hardest classes you can to do the work. Right? And I know you've got at least 1 AP.
Yeah, college course.
And then they want to see signs of growth and introspection. So you've been through a lot, and instead of feeling like that's going to keep you from going to a really good school, that may be what gets you in, because you've had this struggle that you've had to overcome. And if you can show that you've come through that, and that you've not only improved your grades but have really grown through the process, then that's going to be something schools really would look for. Do you like to write?
Yeah.
Do you keep a journal?
Yes, but not very detailed because my parents started reading it.
Okay, but writing, the point for me is I don't care what you're writing about, but writing, and especially writing about yourself, is going to be a huge help. Because when it comes time to write those essays, they want to see evidence that you know who you are, and that you know what's important to you, and that you know what you're looking for, and what you've been through, and how you've grown. And that's what you practice every time you write in a journal. Even if you don't want anyone else to read it, that's fine. So keep doing that. That's a wonderful thing. All right, so tell me again about what your guidance counselor said.
We were just going over me and my science and math routes, and she made it clear to me that I'm graduating with a plain Regents degree, not advanced Regents, and that community colleges will willingly accept me, but 4-year colleges won't.
Yeah, that's not exactly true. There are more selective schools in which they would want you to prove yourself at a community college first before selecting you.
Yeah.
But there are schools in which that would be fine. And in fact, if you left New York State, there's no such thing as a Regents diploma.
Yeah.
So it really wouldn't. That distinction wouldn't make that much of a difference from there. What they want to see is that you're taking the hardest classes available to you. And if you are struggling with your grades, that doesn't mean all is lost. If your grades start to pick up, that means a lot to them. If you do go to community college and do really well, that means a lot to them. But the thing is, you can't start off in high school and think, I'll pick it up in community college, because you know why? A lot of kids get caught in the trap of going to community college. They need remedial classes. They're taking classes, they're paying for classes, but they don't realize it's not matriculating, so they're not actually working towards any degree. So they might spend a whole year or two taking classes to make up what they didn't do in high school, and it never counts towards any degree.
Yeah.
And they have to start, it might take them 4 years to get the degree that they thought was going to be their first 2 years before they went on to another school. So it is really important to use this next year and a half to prove to the schools that you can do the work. Even if you're planning on going to a community college, still working as hard as you can through your senior year will make sure that the courses you take in community college actually earn you a degree. Okay? Do you feel like you're a little clearer on all that now?
Yeah.
Okay, and we can talk again.